All right, where's the quarterback situation at? You know, that's the first question.
Yeah, no, it's very close, and I tell you, I told the team this yesterday. These are two of the best young quarterbacks I've ever coached. You know, Tyler's 19 years old and Christian's 18, and you know, I'd say by the end of the week we'll make a decision on who will start the Syracuse game. But you know, I would say that both guys will play this year.
And Bill, can you kind of clarify that? Because I know before you had said you weren't really a two-quarterback guy, but what do you mean by that? Is it just kind of a, one will be the guy for Syracuse and then keep evaluating? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I think both guys just need to be ready to play this year. That's the clarification.
I'm sorry, Bill. Can you kind of compare and contrast them a little bit? Does one guy do one thing better?
I don't want to get into that, Mark. You know what I mean? I think, you know, one guy's a little bit taller, one guy's a little bit shorter. One guy.
I guess my point is,
you know what I mean?
Better against one sort of defense than one another. Or is it
no, they're both. They both have the ability to throw the ball down the field, to make athletic moves on the perimeter of the defense. They're both athletic, you know, even for their size. You know, both those guys can run, and so we've seen a lot of that. They can throw on the run, so they're more similar than they are different.
How's your communication been like with them? Have they responded to all the coaching well?
Yeah, I've never had more fun coaching quarterbacks than I've had coaching these two guys. I mean, they're bright guys. They work at it. They compete in practice. They've got you know, good demeanors. You know, they've got good huddle command. So I've had a lot of fun coaching both these guys.
With Swinak's situation, Bill, can you give us an update on that?
Yeah, no, he's doing well. You know, he's ready to go. He took the red jersey off, I think it was last week. I mean, he had the red jersey on and he was hitting guys, and the DBs, you know, they were like, well, coach, he does a red jersey on, so shouldn't he have that off if he's going to hit us? So we decided to take it off, and he's done well.
What did Bill Belton need to do to show you that he could be in the mix here?
Yeah, no, he's had a really good camp, Rich. He's had a good camp. I just want him to keep it going. He's going to play a lot of football for us this year. He's worked hard. He's quicker. He's running the ball more decisively than he did last year, and he, you know, he can catch the ball out of the backfield. So he's had a good camp for us.
Did you have to have a heart-to-heart with him after last
Oh,
year?
I've had a few heart-to-hearts with Billy. You know, I really think a lot of Billy, and I think Billy has a bright future. You know, I think he's a good kid, and yeah, I've had a few discussions with Billy.
Players said they've watched a little bit of Syracuse tape. Where are you guys at right now as far as?
Yeah, no, we'll start working on Syracuse here today. That's why you guys have to leave after this, and then you know, we'll continue to work on Syracuse through the weekend. We'll practice Saturday, and then we'll give them Sunday off. And you know, as a staff, obviously we've done a lot of work on Syracuse. They're a very good football team, and you know, so we already have an idea of what we want to do. There's some new coaches on that staff, so it's going to be a game of adjustments. You know, it's the first game. A lot of unexpected things are going to happen, and we have to be ready to adjust. So, but we'll begin working on them. We already have been working on them.
We don't know who their quarterback is yet either. Do you find that a little ironic in this situation?
No, you know, I think to be honest with you, I'll be real honest with you. I know you guys, everybody does a great job, but I think people put too much stock into that. You know, the naming of a quarterback, especially when there's, you know, some good ones in the programs. That each program has good quarterbacks, and you know, there's other positions that are very, very important too. You know, there's competition going on at a lot of positions here at Penn State. I'm sure the same can be said at Syracuse, and you know, there will be 11 guys that start the game against Syracuse, but hopefully a lot of guys play. You know, a lot of guys play in that game. We've got a fairly young team at certain positions, so we'd like to get a lot of guys playing time.
Where are you guys injury-wise, Bill? I see some guys out there in red jerseys.
Yeah. Well, that's Ben Klein. So Ben Klein, he's got the shoulder deal, and we're just trying to limit his contact on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. Yeah, and then Amos, he's, you know, just got dinged up with the hamstring and then, you know, ankle. He's fine. We're just trying to limit the contact there.
Any other key guys who are kind of?
You know, Wilkerson's out. Yeah. You know, he'll be out for a while. He had back surgery. It went well. Brad Bars, obviously, you know, is out. And then just the normal bumps and bruises. You know, nothing, you know, too major right now.
Robinson's okay?
Robinson's fine. Robinson, you know, he's had early in camp, all these guys have hamstring issues, and he's one of our best players. So we've just tried to do a good job of managing him on a day-to-day basis.
Bill, you said you want to name starting QB later in the week. What are you hoping to see then in these next 2-3 practices to kind of make that decision a little easier?
Yeah, I just want to keep practicing, keep getting these guys a lot of reps, and making sure that these guys see a lot of different looks and get to throw the ball to all the different receivers equally. I think they both have to be ready to do that. So, I just want to see more practice time.
Just curious, everybody names the quarterback. You don't necessarily have to. Your practices are closed. We don't know.
Thank you, Corey. I don't have to do anything you guys want me to do.
I mean, is there a benefit to naming the guy? I mean, you could be secret going into the game.
I think there was a benefit last year. I really believe there was, because I think you had an older guy that had been in the program for a long time. And so I felt like there was a real benefit there, because here's a guy in Matt McGloin, who had been here for going into his 5th year, and I think it was important in that situation. But in this situation where you have 2 young guys who neither of them have been here very long, I think it's important for each guy to continue to earn their stripes and continue to gain the respect of their teammates. So until I feel really good about where that's at, I'd say both guys, it's very close, like I said.
Be a benefit to not even naming somebody and just take
No, I will name somebody. I'll tell you guys, there will be a guy that runs out there and starts the first game. And the guy that's the starter is going to play the majority of the snaps, like what Audrey was asking. I mean, the guy that's the starter is going to be the starter. But I think it's important when you have 2 young guys. It's a totally different situation than last year, is that, whoever the backup is a young guy that needs to get his feet wet a little bit. So why not play him a series here or there just to get him into a major college football game and let him get his feet wet? I think that's important too.
You had a situation like that? Any of the other stops you've made?
No. I've always had, we had another really good young quarterback at Duke named Thaddeus Lewis, who still plays in the NFL, who was a really good player, and he was the only one, though, there. I mean, we had other good kids, but he was clearly the best, so we started him. And then, obviously, at Georgia Tech, I had George Gotze, who was a 2-year starter there and threw for 6,000 yards. He was clearly the #1 guy there. And then, obviously, Tom Brady, and then last year with McGloin. So, no, this is the first situation, and it's a really good situation for our football team.
Coach, between going from Syracuse changing coaches, how does that change your prep? Because it's an opener, and you don't have any film on, or much film to go off, right?
Yeah, well, the head coach was there. He was on the staff, so we can watch. He was the defensive coordinator, so we can watch a lot of what they did there. Then we look at some things from maybe where some certain staff members came from and things like that. But you're right. I mean, you can't really totally pinpoint and put all your eggs in one basket. You've got to make sure that you've shown your players enough during training camp that they're ready for just about everything, especially in that first game. I would say after 2 or 3 games, that's when a team really starts to get its identity. But that first game, both guys are trying to figure each other out, and not knowing what's going to happen is an interesting deal. And I would say the same for us. I mean, you guys are only here for individual. That's for a reason, because I don't want guys filming what we're doing, but we're a totally different team than we were last year. We're doing a lot of different things. We're very, very different.
What do you see from personnel? You can look at personnel. Like, what do you see from them personnel-wise?
Yeah, they have guys back. I think they have 6 or 7 guys back on defense, and obviously on offense, like somebody said, they'll have a new quarterback, but there's a lot of guys back on offense, including guys up front, and then they have 2 really good running backs that are tough. I think both guys gained 1,000 yards, so they're a very good football team. They're well coached. I think you're looking at really 2 similar teams, in many ways, and I just think it's going to be a heck of a college football game.
Bill, who's had a good camp at linebacker behind your starters?
Yeah, it's interesting. Before Ben Klein kind of dinged his shoulder, he was really doing a nice job on defense and on special teams. And, Gary Wooten's gotten better every day. He's gotten better every day. There's a couple of run-ons there. A guy named Adam Cole, who I think has stepped up and really, laid the wood on some people in some of these scrimmages. And that's been interesting to see. So maybe, is that a guy that can help us on special teams? Maybe not so much at linebacker right now, but maybe on special teams. So, yeah, there's some guys there that have done well. But again, it's, there isn't a lot of bodies there. I mean, you look out there and there's a lot of bodies at linebacker, but, a lot of those guys just got here 2 weeks ago. So as far as guys that can actually play in games, there's probably 5 or 6 guys.
Coach, you mentioned other position battles. What have you seen at defensive tackle so far between Ball Blitz, Austin Johnson, and the other guys there?
That's been I think you have a very talented group of guys there. You have Boblitz, who's really played well this training camp. Austin Johnson had an excellent practice yesterday. So those guys will roll in there. Daquan Jones has been really good. He's tough to block. He's a bull in there. You also have Derek Dowry and Brian Gaia, who, these two guys are tough guys. They're strong, and they've done well. So, I can see a rotation of 5 or 6 guys going in there, and certain guys will have different roles, short yardage, goal line, things like that. But, I think keeping them fresh will be good, and all those guys can help us.
You were without Adam Gress last week. Have you gotten him back yet?
Oh, that's the other one. Yeah, Gress. Yeah, he'll be fine. We're kind of taking it easy with him. It was a knee, and he should be back to practice here in a couple days.
What have you seen out of Gary?
Yeah, Gary over the last 3 practices has really improved. It's tough. When you move from tight end to tackle, that's not the easiest move. People think that that's pretty easy to do, but tight end's a little bit different now. You're releasing into passes a lot there, and so when you move from there to tackle, it's like going from catching passes all the time to about 1,000 car crashes during practice. That's what it is at tackle. So he's really improved over the last 3 or 4 practices, and he's going to play a lot of football for us, and he'll help us a lot.
Do you have a starter there?
You'd have to say right now that Gress would be the starter, but I think that that Gary's shown enough that we would feel comfortable putting him in there and playing him. And then you got Smith, Donovan, Smitty on the left side, that'll play at left tackle. And Andrew Nelson's a freshman that we think is a really good player, but he's had a couple injury issues, just bumps and bruises, so he's missed a couple practices, so he's probably fallen behind a little bit. And then we've used Shrive at tackle and guard, but Shrive's a backup, and he's done some good things, but he'll play, So we think we've got like 9 guys on the offensive line that can play for us this year. And Mac does a good job of playing a lot of guys there.
Take 2 more guys.
Jeff and Tony were tweeting out some stuff about you with the guys at the museum and whatnot. What went into kind of taking them over?
Oh, last night?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I felt like it was important for these guys, young guys, older guys that have been here to show them again the history of the program. People ask us all the time, what do you have to play for? And I think you guys that have been around us every day know that we don't find any trouble. We don't have any trouble figuring out what to play for. And one of the things we play for is the history of the program and all the players and all the coaches that came before us and what they meant to this place. So I took them around, and if you've never been through that stadium the way we did it last night, it's like I said the other day, it's a cathedral. It's an unbelievable stadium. So we took them into the museum there, and then we took them out. We took them into the locker room, showed them a plaque that we have in there from John Capoletti, something that he wrote. Then we took them basically into the Letterman's Lounge, and we talked to them about the Letterman's Lounge and how Buddy Tesner founded that and what it meant to Penn State football players and what the thought process was behind that. Then we took them down the stairs and we showed them all the murals, that had all the former great players leading all the way back to Coach Higgins and Wally Triplett and all those guys that played back in the day. So I thought the guys got a lot out of it, and it was a great night.
Hey, Bill, how's that ESPN experience been? And what do you anticipate tonight? Have you seen it?
No, I've seen the clips that they put out there. I just, I hesitated a little bit with that, but I think at the end of the day, I always think about our players, and I think we have fantastic guys here that represent this place very well. And so I think anytime you can get on national TV and have those cameras see these guys that play football for us, go to school, or just really great kids. I can't tell you enough what fantastic kids these guys are. Fun to coach, and so I thought that was a big part of it, and hopefully that's what comes out tonight.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Yep. Thank you, guys.